Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. I am so excited to be here with you once again as we share empowering information that helps you as an individual. Yes, most of the time and many times we talk about health as far as what goes into your mouth. Well, today we're going to be stepping outside of that box and we're going to be talking about another area of health. So, folks, get ready. Now, if you are here live with us, make sure that you are watching a smile, because if you're here live in the Zoom, you will be able to see what everybody else in the world is seeing out on all the different platforms. But make sure that you have that chat open also, as we have an amazing co-host in Maryland who is putting up dictation into that chat, so that if you can't take notes fast enough, she can type even faster than the speaker, and she keeps up and puts that information so that we can read it and take our notes and take screenshots of it if something comes up that really speaks to you. Now, if you're out on any of the platforms watching us, whether you're live or on a replay, please let us know that you are there. Say hello where you are joining us from. I love to see the reach of the program, as we are international with no borders, and we love and welcome everybody. This program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. On this website, you're going to find links to our previous programming. You're going to find articles that help you even more in finding a better health journey for yourself. And folks, there are times where we are driving through life and we don't feel that there's a U-turn, but I am here to say there absolutely are U-turns allowed. So open up your minds and let's get started in today's program. As you are watching us, if you were invited by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them, because they are your first and only, in some cases, point of contact. We want to make sure that you get back with them because they took the time to say, hey, check this out. They cared enough about you because they knew that there was something in this program that was going to be speaking to you as an individual or someone you know and love. And as you are listening, folks, and you can or do think of somebody that you know and love that this information could benefit, make sure that you share it with them as well. Because as we're working in our own families, our own selves, and our communities together, we can make an amazing difference around the world. Now, if nobody invited you to this program and you would like to speak to somebody in regards to what you were heard about on this program, or a way that you can make your own U-turn, I do have a call team standing by at 855-949-9999. 888-888-3377. My name is Becca Dukes. I am not only the host, but the producer of this program. I'm also Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health and a certified naturopathic practitioner. This information that is shared on our program changed my life, actually gave me my life back. And that's why I do what I do, and the guests that I have on our program do what they do, because of the value that they found in the message, and they're bringing their talents to share with us and around the world. Today, we have Raymond Brown. He is an entrepreneurial powerhouse based in Sugar Land, Texas, known for his dynamic leadership, inspirational speaking, and transformative coaching and personal development. And he is just absolutely a spiritual empowerer. So you're going to find some spiritual empowerment in today's program. He is originally from North Carolina with ties to Newark and Morristown, New Jersey. His journey is marked by a relentless passion for helping individuals realize their full potential. After major learnings from University of A&T in Greensboro, he embarked on the career of eventually led him to Wall Street, working at Dow Jones. Despite his success, Raymond felt compelled to forge his own path and nurture his entrepreneurial spirit. He founded Wall Street International, an office and computer supply company in Houston, Texas, which quickly received a nomination for an award and awarded for its as one of the fastest growing small businesses in the city. His entrepreneurial journey took a pivot turn when faced with a challenge posed by Office Depot's marketing entry. Determined to find a business with minimal overhead that allowed for personal growth and community impact, Raymond discovered the wellness industry, folks. Today, he thrives as a leader in this field, helping others achieve health, prosperity, and personal fulfillment. Raymond's expertise extends into relationship marketing, where his dedication and strategic approach have earned him accolades such as International Trainer of the Year, and memberships in prestigious circles like the Inner Circle and Circle of Honor. His achievements include being selected to ring the NASDAQ bell in 2018, recognized in the Top Achievers Club, and receiving the Clutch Award. Beyond his business successes, Raymond is a sought-after personal development and spiritual empowerment coach. He guides individuals to uncover their life's purpose, rewrite their life scripts, and live live passionately and purposefully. Raymond resides in Sugar Land, Texas, with his beautiful wife, Yolanda, a successful empowerment coach herself, podcast host, and author of Your Defining Aha Moment. Together, they continue to inspire and empower others through their work and community engagement. And today, folks, we are super excited to have Raymond, as he's going to be sharing about how to have peace without fear and anxiety, which I know a lot of people just they I don't know, deal with, challenged with. I don't know, what would be the right term, Raymond?
You hit it. Deal with, challenge, and asking why.
That's a great question. Why?
Why?
Why? Why do we have fear? Why do we have anxiety? And how can we live in peace, Raymond?
Yes, that is the question. That is the multi-million-dollar question that we have asked, I guess, since birth. How do I learn to live in peace in a world that doesn't promote peace, right? And so what happens is we start following all the rules and the thoughts of our environment. And sooner or later we grow up and we see that they actually don't give us peace. They may give us money and things, but peace. And that was one of the things that always baffled me, Rebecca, was peace. You know, all the accolades were great growing up, and I'm great. Well, not growing up, but since I got into the business world, but they didn't give me peace. But you know, as you grow older, as you get more mature, you wear different sets of lenses or glasses, and the things that used to excite you and appeal to you don't necessarily mean that much at a different time in life. And so I think what we do, Becca, is that we get into this role of thinking of what success is to each individual. The big house, the big car, you know, the travel, the clothes, the this and the that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things, but they didn't give me peace. And that's what I wanted all the time, because I was raised in a very dysfunctional, I won't say it was very dysfunctional, but a dysfunctional family, in the sense that my father left. I had all these sisters, and I was the only boy. My father left the family. And so I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have a guide or a pattern to go by. And so I developed all these insecurities and fears and whatnot. You know, I didn't have, so I grew up to a certain extent, guys, where I became a victim. And to make a long, I'm gonna go through the whole scenario, but to make a long story short, my mentor, you know, I would go to him and I would say, man, you know, I didn't grow up with a father. Nobody came. I didn't have anybody to come to my football games, you know. And he said, boy, he said, you're a grown man now. Stop being a victim. And nobody had ever said that to me, that I was a victim. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what a victim was, but I was living a life of being a victim. So, and I thought all the answers were the outside. You know, you look for this and you look for that and you look for this, and the answers never came for me. You know, as you might have remembered, I told you I was actually looking for the answers in life, and it didn't matter. I knew how I felt. I felt very different than everybody else. I could be in a crowd and I would feel lonely, insecure, but I would put on this face and this act as if, you know, I had it all together on the inside. You know, I pretended to be confident. I dressed well. I had an education, but inside I was dying inside, and nobody knew it. And eventually it caught up with me. But in the meantime, I was searching for the truth. You know, I was raised, you know, you heard me say this, I was raised in the Methodist faith. And what I would do, guys, because I was seriously searching. This wasn't a game to me. Because I was dying. And if I had kept this inner turmoil going, I'm sure I would have not been here, probably trying to drown out those feelings and that pain, probably been in prison, you know, that kind of stuff. So I went about, Becca, searching. So I studied, you know, again with here's the way it started. So I always wondered why things happen to people, or why some people were confident, why some people lived in fear. Why did I feel this way? So I would go to church and the pastor would preach a sermon. I would come back home, try to live my life from that sermon that week, and it didn't work out for me. You know, I was always wondering about moral values as well. I would say, well, here we are, this family with great moral values. Family up the street, they have the moral values of a weasel, and they live better than we live. Something is missing. I'm missing something. And as far as peace was concerned, they didn't seem to care about being at peace or having a conscience or anything like that. How could God allow this to happen? So I went about studying with the Jehovah's Witness, Buddhism, Hinduism, because I was sincerely looking for peace of mind. And over 50, 55 years of studying this, stuff, looking for the answers, I came up for me that it's all about knowing what spiritual principles are, and that everything is within and not without. So I'm gonna read a quote here that I thought was very that it struck me. Hopefully it'll touch some of you guys as well. And the quote says this: "A man that looks outside of himself dreams. A man that looks inside himself wakes up." I thought that was so. I thought that was so touching to me. It just hit me. A man that looks outside of himself dreams. A man that looks inside of himself wakes up. And so this is the foundation that my family and friends started building, and that was learning things from the inside outside, and why some things worked and some things didn't. So what I'd like to do, Becca, I'm going to give you guys a couple of things that have helped me, or continue to help me, in things I've learned that really work for me. And you'll have to find your own way. Everybody's on this journey, the ones that are searching, and we all have different paths. So, say there's one God, but there's many ways to find him. So I'm going to read a couple of things, and then I'll answer some questions and maybe interact with some of the other stuff that I've kind of chosen to write down. So I hope you guys ask plenty, are curious enough to ask questions. And if I don't have the answer, I promise I won't try and give you BS. I'll do the best that I can. And that's all we can do, is the best that we can do, right? So yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely correct. And so I just, that is such a profound quote. Profound. If you don't mind reading that one more time, if you have that available.
Yeah.
And as we're doing questions today, folks, we want to make sure that we stick to the content of today's program, as we won't be doing any health questions today, because today we are working on that peace and living without the fear and anxiety. So Raymond, I love your opening, and so many bits, so many nuggets that we can take with us, even if that's all we hear. But I know the best is yet to come. So please go ahead and continue, folks. Raymond Brown.
Okay. So the quote says, "A man that looks outside of himself, he dreams. The man that looks inside himself wakes up." That's so profound, because we are always looking on that, and we've been taught, almost the whole human race have been taught to look outside ourselves for the answers. I once read this, that even a problem is not a problem until you label it a problem. I thought that was kind of neat too, to read that. And at least it got me to thinking. So I'm gonna go down a list of a couple of things, or some things that I've learned over the years that really helped me. And guys, I've read thousands of books. I've spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, seminars, and all of these things, getting personal training, psychiatrists, psychologists, to help me get what I was willing to invest in, that to help me get some peace of mind. So that's been my path. So the first thing I'm going to I've learned to do. And we can discuss each one of these, guys, after I read them to you. Okay. So the first one is to learn to relax. I didn't think when I heard that was very spiritual because it was based on physicality, right? Something physical. But learn to relax. And here's what you want to do. Relax your shoulders, relax your chest, relax your stomach, and relax your hips. First thing you want to do. I know you may not think that has a spiritual um, uh, uh, meaning, but it does. That's the very first thing you want to do to learn in life is to relax. As you're sitting watching TV, as you're sitting in a conversation, as you're sitting in the bathroom, taking a bath, 100 times a day, just do that. I didn't think it would have any effect on me, but that there had the biggest effect on me of all the teachings I've had. So the next one is, there's some, should we, let me ask you this. We have some hands raised. Do you, Becca, do you want me to answer as we go along, or just continue to go down the list and then we answer them after we go down the list?
Go ahead and go down the list, and then we will come to the questions after you go through the list.
Okay. So the next one is to stay open. You keep your shoulders down. Don't try to control or manipulate others or life. Do not criticize or judge anybody or any situation, because that causes you to close your heart. Number 3, stay and keep your mind on this very moment. Stay out of the future and stay out of the past. Number 4, know that your thoughts are not who you are. This was a big one for me, Becca and guys, because I always thought whatever I think is me, and it's not. It took me years to learn that. So know that your thoughts are not who you are. They're not the real you. So thoughts, and on top of that, don't judge any of your thoughts, because that's what it wants you to do. It's the lower self of us. Number 5, just observe life unfolding in front of you. Trust life unfolding each moment. It knows exactly what it's doing. Because guys, we've been taught to control this situation. Every situation in our lives, we want to control or manipulate somebody to help us feel a certain way about certain. Because if we're not controlling, then we're afraid, and that control comes from fear, and that manipulation comes from fear. We are afraid that somebody's going to say something to us to hurt our feelings or hit our stuff that's been buried down there since childhood or even yesterday. So we live a life of fear, of trying to avoid situations and people that won't hit our stuff. Okay, so we can talk more about that. Other thing, ask God to guide you, or your higher power, whatever that is, to guide you and release the negative thoughts and release them from those scars that you have, that we all carry. The next one is have no particular wants or desires. Now that really threw me. Now it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a desire to do better or anything like that, but don't try to control the situation or people, because I used to do that, and my mind would say, if she doesn't do this or he doesn't do this, then I'm not going to get to where I want to be. Some of you can identify with that. And so you try and manipulate people, or you don't tell them the total truth. And it's in life and in business. so you can get what you want to get to help you feel a particular way about yourself. The next one is don't judge, do not judge or label anything as bad or good, even as illness. You don't judge anything as bad or good. So, and here's kind of like a philosophy. Those are the things that I kind of that I practice every day. But these are reminders. I call these the top things to live by. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number one, people are the way they are. We're constantly trying to change people or manipulate them to be a certain way. Our kids, our spouses, our friends, to be a certain way. The next one is things are the way they are. Things are the way they are. And I think in the 12-step program, they call it, what is it they call it? Accept life on life terms. I think that's what they did. The next one is things happen when they happen. The next one is there's no right or wrong from a spiritual standpoint. Have no attempt to control life, just enjoy this very moment. And those are the 6 things that I try and live by that has given me peace. So, do you have any questions on any of those things?
Well, I just want to go through and review and folks. So if I can get some help here, getting added as a spotlight, please. Awesome. Thank you so much. So Raymond, the first thing, people are the way they are. Don't constantly try to change them. Oh my goodness. As a parent, I think that might be something that we become guilty of way too often. And then as we're getting into business and we're being leaders in business and wanting to form people into who we think they should be.
Absolutely.
Instead of letting them grow and be themselves and the dynamic individual that they are, showing who they are. So can we just talk a little bit, based on what I just added to that, what is your response?
When you mean when you try to change people?
Oh, yeah. So like we as parents trying to change and mold our kids the way we want them to be.
Sure.
Or, employees or people that we work with.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Have you, to this day, ask it, the people that you've tried to change, has that ever happened? On a permanent basis, has it ever happened?
I would say no. And whatever changes were made were usually the opposite of what I was going for.
And first of all, ask yourself the question, why do I want to change this person? That is the question.
We think we know what's best.
Absolutely. Our lives is not working the way it should work. We're not at peace, but yet we think we can change that person. And the reason we want to do this is this. We're not okay. We have not been taught to be okay inside in our society. So if I can, and here's the way the ego and thoughts work, we've been programmed. We think that if we change this person to what we think they ought to be, it's going to make me feel better because now, I've convinced this person. Now it gives me a little power, right? or I think I know better, or I know his or her path, right? But it's not
Mhm.
about them. It never will be about them. It's always about us. We don't feel good. We haven't dealt or haven't learned how to deal with the insecurities and the fear in ourselves. So we walk around with these scars on the inside. And if I get you to think a certain way or feel a certain way, it'll make me feel better. The problem with that is that it never stops. Even if that person does that, you can change them momentarily. You feel it. And then the next time they say something or do something you don't like, it starts all over. And then it goes to the next person and the next person. And that's the way we live our lives. And we're not at peace. It's just temporary. So what we have to do is deal. Why do I want to change this person? What is it in me that wants to change this situation or this person? Is only to make myself feel better temporarily. And it's just a temporary fix
It's true.
because of our insecurity, our fear, right? That's the reason why we want to change people instead of allowing people to be who they are and live their journey the way they're supposed to live it. Oh, I know I was a control freak. I had so many fears and insecurity. And I was smart enough where I could manipulate a person or the conversation to make me feel better. But then the next time I was in a conversation, a crowd, or with somebody, I would try and manipulate the conversation again to make me feel better. Because I was always walking around insecure and fearful. That's what we have been taught. Now, some of us have different fears, and some of our fears are worse than others, and insecurities. We're all different. But we do these things, we want to change other people because we're not okay with ourselves. So leave other people alone, focus on you. The answer is never on the outside of us. Our answers are always on the inside. That
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, thank you. That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, number 2, folks, things are the way they are. Accept life on life's terms. Now, as you know, on life's terms, there are things that we can do to kind of mold life. If we're accepting things as they are, where does that put us in, having that goal?
it puts us at peace because see, again, it goes back. It's kind of like the same problem. See, we think we know what's best for us in the world and other people. And we grow up, we're going to police the universe. This
Mm.
world has been here for this universe has been here from what I understand 13.8 billion years. And it survived before we got here. And it's going to survive
Mhm.
after we're gone. But see, we think we know. I'll give you just a little example. Have you ever been like your mind is taking you to a place where uh, you're going to have a conversation with somebody on the phone or in person, and oh, this person is going to be mad at me. They're going to cuss me out. All this fear is running through you, right? And anxiety. And you get on the phone and you call them, and it's totally opposite of what you thought it would be. It's so nice. They didn't think a thing about what I thought they were thinking about. This has happened to me over and over again. And come to find out, it never happened. All that fear and anxiety I was carrying for that day or that month or whenever I was supposed to go through this scenario was for nothing.
Mhm.
Things like that will make us sick. So, in other words, the universe, even though, see, the universe is inside as well as outside. So all these things that we're trying to control, it's best for us. You know, you've heard that saying, everything happens for a reason. Well, if you, there's a the Beatles song, maybe I said this last time. They put out a song back in the 60s, and that song was Let It Be. Let it be. You'll be guided what to do and what to say when the time comes. But what we try and do, we want to set the scenario up inside of us, right? Where to prevent this thing we think is going to happen, we try and set it up where we won't have to feel the pain. So we're going to set it up to manipulate this situation or thing. You know, I give you a good example the way I used to be. I was thinking about this. Like whenever somebody did this was a trust issue. So whenever somebody did something, worked on the house or something, I always had this idea that they were going to try and gyp me or
like scam you.
Yeah, scam me and stuff like that. I'm thinking the whole time that they're working on the house, this is the way it's going to go down. And come to find out, it's not like that. It ended very smoothly, but see, sometimes I would bring those things on myself by giving that energy off to that person, right? Or using a tone of voice, well, you better not overcharge me, that kind of stuff. Even though I didn't say those words, I was projecting those words, which is based on what? Fear. Sometimes we have to let life, well, most of the time we just have to let life unfold. And if there's a scenario that you're supposed to handle, you will be able to handle as long as you stay relaxed. That is going back to that step one we talked about. Because left on your own devices, you're just, without that knowledge of being relaxed, you will go get into anxiety, your voice will change, your energy will change. So these are some of the things we're talking about as far as letting the world unfold. Your sister is the way she's supposed to be. Your husband is the way he's supposed to be. Now, you may not like it, but that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, believe it or not, you're not everything they think you should be, right?
Right.
That's just that insecurity within us, and we think that if we change them, that things are going to get better for us, and they're not. We have to take personal responsibility for our lives.
And I think you pretty much touched on number 3 just now. Things happen when they happen.
Yes.
Now, let's go on to number 4. And this is something that I was actually having a conversation with my loved one just yesterday. There's no right or wrong from the spiritual standpoint. Expand on that one just a little bit.
Well, have you ever heard the saying, our highest thoughts are just jokes to God?
No.
Our highest thoughts, human thoughts, are just jokes to God. There are things that we don't understand from a spiritual standpoint. To the naked eye, to the human eye, it's only what we've been taught, what's right and what's wrong, right?
That's right.
So we label things and we label people as right or wrong. And there is no, I'm going to try to get to the bottom of this. There is no right or wrong. There just is. There is no right or wrong. There just is for this moment. And people walk around. And the reason we think there's a right or wrong is that we've set up these scenarios in life or in our culture and say, well, if you do this, this is wrong. If you do that, this is wrong. To God, now I'm not saying that there are things that you do, there's no, the way God set things up, that there's no repercussion. You know, it's a law that if you do something, something will eventually happen to you. He set that rule up because if we didn't, we would go around here trying to use each other and kill each other, and there's no repercussions. We'll be just crooked people. and the strongest man or woman win, right? But he said, you know, that old saying, you reap what you sow. So, and nobody knows exactly what that means for each person. For instance, if I steal from you, somebody will steal from me. It could be in a totally different way. But right and wrong is just, from a spiritual standpoint, for instance, if I give you, I read this long time ago, and guys, please forgive me for saying this. Y'all might not think I have morals for saying this, but this is what I read. I'm going to show you what's right and this right and wrong deal. There are places, there was this tribe in, God, this book was 30 years ago. Do you know in this tribe, years ago, in order for the father to give the daughter away to another man, he had to have sex with his daughter before he could give her away. Now, to us, that is totally at the lowest of the low, moral. To them, it was normal. Now, is that right or is that wrong? It's only wrong to us because we've been programmed a certain way. In all different cultures, you see that because we're judgmental. When you label something as right or wrong, it makes you judgmental, regardless of what you say, right? So I'm not saying you should buy into that or that's wrong. I wouldn't buy into that, but I wouldn't buy into it because I'm not from that tribe. Does that make sense?
Right.
So we're all programmed to know what's right and wrong in different cultures, Russia or China or India. They have different cultures. I think in the morning they talk about you use in certain parts of India, you use if a baby's not feeling good, you use your first spit in the morning, or if they have a sore to put on it or something like that. That's gross to me.
Me too.
That's wrong to me, but to them, it's not. So from a spiritual standpoint, there is no right or wrong. It's just our human side and what we've been programmed for. See, everything we all know or believe in, or it's what we have bought into. That's all it is. People would say, I wouldn't be a Buddhist, I wouldn't be this. If you were born in that culture, you would be, right? So I always try to expand my mind and ask why all the time. Because Buddha, for instance, was here 500 years before Christ came. And all the things that Christ was teaching us, the disciples, Buddha had talked about that 500 years prior to Christ even coming to earth. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So, but if you talk to most people, they'll say Buddhism is wrong. It's probably got some things in it that I don't agree with, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. If you're born into that faith, that's all they know. But see, we as Americans, we are always right. And that's just that programming. So we close our minds, and we don't even know it. We close our mind to other things. So I'm open to learning from every culture there is. I don't close my mind. So if we're all children of God, Becca, that don't mean just all Americans. If we're all children of God, then God put wisdom in a lot of different cultures, right?
Yep.
Everywhere.
Absolutely.
But we have to be open to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, one of our dear friends, and who's been on this program, Dr. Joyce Hunt Brown, she's had that afterlife experience. And she said when she was on the other side, she asked God, what about those that believe in Allah and the different books and teachings? And she said he said to her, I am who I am, whatever name they give me, as a higher power. So I thought that was very, very interesting that was the response, that she was able to come back after being pronounced dead and come back with that she has now taken with her for decades. And that has opened her up to be able to be more loving and accepting of mankind.
Yes, yes. I've read those things, and Marianne Williamson talks about a friend of hers died, was in a plane crash, and she lost most of her blood, but she fought and came back because her father needed her. And when she went through the light, as she says, that the love that she felt was unbelievable. It's undescribable to the human psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Love for mankind. I mean, love for everybody, right?
That's it.
How can we love, Becca, when we're going around trying? We love, first of all, we can't give what we don't have. You ain't love nobody if you don't love yourself. You just think you do. That person is just fulfilling those scars that we have, right? And as soon as they stop feeling those scars, or smoothing those scars out, then we go right back to the fear, the anxiety. In other words, we meet ourselves. We take ourselves with us no matter where we go.
Yes.
Relationship, business, it doesn't matter. Because then, like in the business, we see people leave, not all the time, but people leave and go to different companies and everything because they don't think they're going to make it here. But they don't know that all they're doing is taking themselves with them. And that's all it is. But they think it's going to be different somewhere else. I'm sorry, Betty. Go ahead.
That's right. No, that's a very good point. I've often said that to my kids, my sons. It's like, you can go and do whatever you want to do and be somewhere else, but you're still there.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and number 5, don't try to control life. Enjoy the present moment, which really hits home to me, as somebody said, yeah, put the phone away, stop trying to control things. Let's just enjoy the moment. Guilty of that one too. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely true. I mean, you can't enjoy the moment when you're being pulled in different directions.
That's right. You're not living. We're
Right.
we're here to live. And when you're trying to work, when you're worrying and trying to control somebody else, that means your life, you're not living that moment. You're trying to control and manipulate that person or life itself. And that's where you've always heard all of the spiritual leaders live in the moment. Now, that's not easy to do, especially for me, but I do my very best. Living in that past, in that future, is nothing more than a slow death. And we haven't learned that. All our lives, that's what we do. We go through life and we think about, well, what she did to us to me in the 6th grade, what my parents did or didn't do. Oh, I wish I had been born in a different family. All our lives, we spend the majority of our time in our past, and life is happening now. Or we're projecting, or we're thinking about what's going to happen in the future, something bad or something we're going to have to deal with. 95% of the stuff that you think you're going to have to deal with in the future never happens. So our goal is to stay focused, live in this moment. Now, guys, that's easy to say, but it takes practice. It's like playing the scales. All the stuff we're talking about is like playing the piano, learning your scales and slowly moving up to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or whatever the case may be. It's like a ladder that you don't get this stuff overnight. But I am going to say this. If you want peace, these are the things that you have to do. You're never going to get peace from looking outside yourself. I don't care how much money you have, I've had it. I don't care what kind of things you got, I've had it. Travel, I've had it. They never, ever give you peace. A lot of people, they keep traveling and doing all this. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, because there's a big, beautiful world God created out here. But if you're traveling to run or to think that you're going to feel better about yourself, or you can brag to your friends, I went to France or Italy, all that, that stuff, it's only temporary, because that's outside stuff. It's not inside. So we have to spend our lifetime, Becca, looking on the inside of us, and at first acknowledging that we're not okay. I don't care who you are. If you're raised in this society, and you might be great in one area, but in another area, you know, it's possible to be a genius in one area of your life and totally insane in another area of your life. So we have to spend our time doing this work. You can call it spiritual work or whatever, but you got to be committed to it if you really want peace. What if we didn't get it right and we have to die and come back until we get it right? I don't want to go through this no more. But what I've been through was hell, mentally and emotionally, just hell. And I'll throw this little caveat in. We're not talking about physical, but a lot of us get sick because of we haven't dealt with ourselves, and we keep looking on the outside, the doctor, the pills, the relationship, the food, or whatever, to make us better. And we just get sicker and sicker because we're looking, that old saying, we're looking for love in all the wrong places. We have to deal with us. Now, I don't recommend, like as a counselor, I don't recommend re-dramatizing ourselves. Like I give you a good example. They did a study. These young boys who would get in trouble all the time, and with their parents, or what, you know, disobeying their parents and all that stuff. So they would take them to prison for about a week, and they would let them live amongst the, if you will, the prisoner or the natives. And they treated them like they would treat anybody that had been in there. They wanted to teach them a lesson. And so it would re-traumatize. They already been catching hell out in the streets, and the parents and take them in there, and they re-traumatize. And the research shows that within a week, they were all back acting the way they were acting, because they never dealt with the inside, they dealt with the outside. And sometimes I'm kind of skeptical about even psychiatrists that want to take us back into our past. And I'm kind of, you know, be careful. The only thing I'm saying is be careful about that, because even the psychiatrist now is not responsible for you. You are.
Right.
Right? Because they kind of take us back, because I've been to them, take them back and re-traumatize that over and over again to try and get to the root cause. For me, it doesn't matter where the root cause from. I'm looking for the solution, because I can't change the past, no matter how much I want to. And that's the thing about going back to the past. No matter how much, because we play these recordings over and over. Well, she said this to me, and I should have said that to her, back to her, or over and over and over again. And you can never change it. Does that make sense? It never changes. Past never changes. Yeah, go ahead.
That totally makes sense. And, you know, holding ourselves hostage in that victimology, in that victim stage, I personally don't think is healthy. And moving on and finding solutions, just like you said, finding the solutions. That's what it's all about. Yep. Well, we've got a few more minutes. Let's go ahead and take a couple questions. We've had some people that are here so patiently waiting with their hands up. And let's go to Bill first. Bill, go ahead and unmute yourself. As he's coming unmuted, Raymond, we have people saying right on point. Thank you for bringing Professor Brown to us. And just really thankful. And some great positive remarks are coming in. So thank you. Bill, can I hear you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Bill, what question do you have?
Raymond, it's comment and statement. I want to thank you for bringing the truths of God and the universe to us and sharing your heart, as I have first met you way back in April online. But I wanted to emphasize some of the truths of, as we know, that plants and how they respond to negative and positive talk. On your Facebook, you had about the Japanese study on water. Might you mention that as a reality of the truth of everything that we're saying? As a man thinketh, so is he. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for that comment. Yeah, I forgot we put that on there, but yeah, you can actually studies show you can actually take a negative person. The studies show, let's make this long story short, and actually the water will turn a different color, right, to a person that's positive. So, and that's why sometimes people that take our product, they have the same condition. One gets better and the other one passes, and you wonder why, how that happened. And people say, well, our bodies are different. Yeah, but our attitudes are more important than our bodies. See, because our cells listen to our thoughts. Oh, by the way, while we're on this subject, I was going to say this at the end, and we can go over a little bit. I postponed my deal. What was I saying? We on this? Oh, we should bless our bodies. We should first ask for forgiveness. The things that we've done to our bodies, even if you didn't take drugs or anything, but the negative thoughts that we've thought, the limited thoughts that we've thought, the thoughts that we bought into through society, right? Of being sick and how it's supposed to be done. And you can go brain, but thank you, brain, forgive me. I mean, all the stuff like in college, right? Being sick, I'll just get, maybe somebody can identify with this. I tried drugs, but really what I was trying them for, to be popular. But after a while, I was doing it to suppress those feelings of fear and anxiety. And you don't have to necessarily come from a dysfunctional home. This society that we live in is very dysfunctional. You live in it, it affects you, some shape, form, or fashion. So that's why the training, what we do, is the utmost important. It's the most important thing you can do. And you have to commit yourself to it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But thank your body, thank your brain cells. Ask for forgiveness because of the thoughts that you had. Your brain cells may not be functioning the way they ought to, or your lungs. Thank your lungs. All that marijuana I smoked back in the 60s and early 70s, all that stuff. I have to ask for forgiveness from my body and thank it every day.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Cindy, go ahead and unmute yourself.
That's Butterfly.
Yes, it is. And you gave me that name and I'm keeping it. Thank you. Look, we talked about transformation one time on the show, Professor, and it was so amazing. The next thing I know, I'm on the next show and you're like, Butterfly, that's your new name. I said, well, Mr. Skip will be very pleased because you guys, the Majestic Eagles, Raymond, Yolanda, and many of the others, were my support team when my husband passed. And today it's been 9 years, almost at 19, but it's been 9 years, but it feels like an eternity, right? And thank you for always being there. And whenever I call you, I'm sometimes reluctant because you'll say, do you have your pencil and your paper ready to take notes? I'm like, I call for a quick call, but I wanted to ask you about, like, with transformation in human, like in children and like butterflies, the metamorphosis. I know it ties in together. And growing up, for me, my father passed when I was about 6.5, so I had to help my mom raise all of the girls and the twins. But my older brother was like 17 years older than me, so he was in the street somewhere running. So that's another story that I'll talk to you about that later. But anyway, like with children, because a lot of the parents, like my mother's new person she married, he told us, y'all are too old. You can't call me daddy. And plus, you'll never be anything. You're nothing. You're trash. And I'm like, oh, he's crazy. So I told the siblings to stay far away. But then my baby sister was born. Beautiful. So I thank God for that. But like you said, loving ourselves sometimes is hard for me because I've loved so many people and some are not here. And that's a journey. So when you tell us to breathe, oh my goodness, it works. And you had us researching that. Like you say, you'll tell us something, don't listen like the other pastors say. Just read it for yourself, do some scientific studies. But it also says that when we don't breathe, you can have all these strokes, heart attacks. I'm like, wait, what? So, on our trainings, I would love for you to do more of that. Like maybe every hour we just stop and take a breath because you always do that, but we get sleepy. So you're kind of like, wait, we're going to do it at the end. But I just want to thank you for being there for us, Majestic Eagles and honorary Majestic Eagles. You treat us all the same. You're always there for us. So thank you guys. And Joel, you talked about Joel Osteen one time. He said when people are miserable, sometimes after you pray for them, just leave them alone. They want to stay stuck where they are, and they will have a pity party for life. And like you say, we take ourselves wherever we go. So, I just wanted to kind of reiterate that because you always teach us so much. So, but anyway, that's it. And thank you, Becca, for having the professor here today.
I got a new name, the professor, right? Guys, Butterfly is yeah. I'm gonna drop a name real quick. Y'all heard of Beyonce, the singer? Well, that's Beyonce's aunt, and Butterfly is, and she had Beyonce's mother on one of our calls one night, sharing their journey, how they started off poor, and the mother had to make their own clothes and outfits before they, to go on stage and stuff. So I thought that was an interesting story, and and she told us the journey. So thank you for that, for my new name, Butterfly.
Yes, that's Dr. Cindy Beyonce, another amazing educator. Thank you, Cindy. Let's go over to AJ. AJ, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Raymond, thank you tremendously for spending some time with us and steering us in the right direction and giving us inspiration. It's and having that soothing voice to keep everybody engaged. Yeah, I like your smoothness, and I appreciate also being an honorary Majestic Eagle. My question is off topic, and it's, did you have anything to do with putting together the Power Pack?
Which Power Pack?
There's a Power Pack that has ZRadical. It has ZRadical, the
EFA Plus and enzymes.
Okay. No, we did. No, I didn't.
Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. It's Tangy Tangerine, ZRadical, and enzymes, ultimate enzymes.
No, I didn't, but I'm grateful, right? And let me just say this, that guys, Yolanda and I don't get any commissions or pay or kickback or anything like that from ZRadical because we talk about it a lot. We do it because we help bring it here, and we've been doing it for 25 years straight, and the research is there. That's why, and it works. My sister, y'all have heard the story, had 4th stage breast cancer, sent her home to die with hospice, and in about 5 weeks, we sent hospice home. That was the changing point in our lives as far as, ZRadical was concerned. It was called something else then, but it was the Foucaultin, right? So no, we just do it because, look, because a lot of people say, well, Raymond and Yolanda just talk about ZRadical. We do it because that's what has worked, and we know it worked. It's matter of fact, it's impossible for it not to work because it works at the cellular level. So, but we don't get any kickbacks, no, nothing. Don't get me wrong, I wish we did, but we don't get not one penny. We build a business just like everybody else.
Well, better than everybody else, and I know that you know, and it should be evident to everyone that you're coming from the right place. And all of my clients who've used ZRadical or Fucoid Z have experienced amazing change as well. So I can concur from personal experience on some of the things that you talk about, and you know, I'm just glad to know you.
Thank you so much, AJ, for saying that. You know, guys, there's a, you know, I'm saying this, you know, we've accomplished a lot of things in life, even outside of network marketing, but it was by the grace of God. That's all it was, and that's all it is. You know, he's protected us, directed us, and a lot of times corrected us, right? And so if you want what we, and I mean this in a very humblest way, because he's kept us humble, that if you want what we have, then do what we do. It's very simple. It's not a hard philosophy. And this is, if I was the only one that could do this, I wouldn't train it. You know, there's a saying that says, what is that saying? I wrote it down in the book. But this is very profound, guys. You gotta hear this one. Becca, if you'll give me 1 minute, here we go. It says, we always learn what we choose to teach. That's profound. Think about it. Think on that. We always learn what we choose to teach. Ben Fuchs put it like this: it takes one to know one. I've been hearing it all my life, but it just really hit me in the last 6 months. It takes one to know one. Yeah, go ahead. Anybody who's next?
Yeah, thank you so much for that, and AJ, thank you for bringing that to the table as well.
Thank you.
Let's go to Hattie. Hattie, go ahead and unmute yourself, my dear.
Awesome. Raymond, great day. Thank you, Becca. Listen.
Thank you, Hattie.
I just wanted you to, one, share the Majestic website again, but also speak to your experiences with ZRadical around eye health and eye illnesses.
Okay. The is Majestic Eagles, that's one word, .info, INFO, majesticeagles.info. As far as eye health is concerned, the research, I can personally speak to that. I was one of those people, for some reason, Hattie, I would scratch my retina at night, and I did this for years. And I would have to go to the optometrist, and they put a, you know, all they would do was put a gel or some type of something on it, and then put a patch over it. And then, you know, a couple of hours, the next day, it's, you know, it helped. So I would start putting, I got this idea to put ZRadical directly in my eye, and it would burn. I didn't have to, and every once in a while I'd put a patch over it. 2 hours, it was gone. And I did that a lot. It wasn't like this was like a one-time thing. I did that a lot. And so that's my experience. So if it did that on the outside, you can imagine what it's doing on the inside.
Thank you so much.
I'll give you one other testimony. We had a 83-year-old man, Mr. Gallant. He was going to renew his license, and he couldn't renew his license. He didn't pass the driver's license test because he couldn't pass the eye exam. He got on the Fucoid and the ZRadical, and within, I don't know how many months, it's been a while back, I forget how time passed. I would say 2-3 months. And he went back and he passed the eye exam.
Yep. It's amazing what you put the right stuff in the body and it's working at the cellular level,
Yes.
what it can do. Absolutely. Well, we do have one more question. We have an individual that's wanting to know if you have any testimonies or any experience working with somebody who has cancer cells in the brain.
Well, nothing's coming to mind, but nothing's coming to mind that Yolanda may be able to tell you. I mean, we've heard so many stories. But since it works at the cellular level, I would imagine it would work in the brain just like it would in the lungs or the heart or wherever, in the throat or anything else, because it's not a brain disease, it's a cell disease, right? So if it's working at the cell, they actually take a deformed cell and make it normal again. So I also heard this, Becca, this is kind of off, since we're talking about the physical part of stuff, it's kind of offbeat. We had discovered Manuka honey a year ago. Our group and I, we used to talk about it, right? And it's really good for a lot, anti-aging, all that kind of stuff. So I would suggest there is a, probably don't get mad at me, guys, but I'm here to help, right? Whether it's within our framework of longevity or outside. You're my brother, you're my sister, I love you. There is a product called, it's a magnesium, but it's a certain type of magnesium. I always thought all magnesiums were the same. So this particular brand or type is called L-threonate. That's L, magnesium, L, and then 3, T-H-R-E-O, threonate, T-H-R-E-A-N-O-T-E, threonate. And it talks about, and what I've learned is that after the age of 25, we start slowing down. Our brain starts slowing down. After the age of 40, it starts shrinking 5% every decade. And what this magnesium, this particular type of magnesium, not any magnesium, is supposed to do, is supposed to help heal the brain. That's what studies show. Now, magnesium oxide is one of the worst ones you can take because it's hard on the stomach. Most magnesium is not that absorbable. Magnesium oxide is only 4% absorbable. The L-threonate is 80% absorbable. So it's really good for the brain. Even Alzheimer's, dementia is what the studies show. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love being able to share information on different nutrients, and especially when you've got so many different sources of nutrients with different names, even if it's just a little different, how it responds in the body can be different as well. And, you mentioned the Manuka honey. I thought you were going to go into the Nano Balance that has the Manuka honey and just some amazing stuff, including the turmeric and, oh goodness, there's 4 things in there, and I'm not thinking of all of them right now. But folks, we have been able to spend the last hour with Raymond Brown, an amazing friend, and one of the very first leaders within the longevity family that I personally met, who welcomed me with open arms and saw me as an individual. It didn't matter where I was within the company or who my enroller was. Raymond Brown and Yolanda Brown are top shelf people. And I am just so honored to have you both be with us here sporadically with Daily with Doc, and just sharing the information, the knowledge, and most of all, your heart's passion and love with each and every one of us. So Raymond, thank you for being here with us today on Daily with Doc.
Becca, thank you. You and I met, you tell that story when you first came into the industry, first came into longevity.
And longevity.
Yeah, and we met you. It was in Dallas. Was that Dallas?
It was in Dallas, 2017.
And
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, and we came up to you and we started talking together. And we just hit it off, right? Didn't know you from Adam. You didn't know us from Adam. Well, I felt the kindness in you. That's the reason I was attracted to your energy. It goes back to what we said. It takes one to know one.
To know one.
So
thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, folks, you have just invested 1 hour and 14 minutes into yourself and learning what you yourself can do to live a peaceful life without the fear, without the anxiety. I hope that you take this information and listen to it again. Where you are, you will always be. But what you are putting into your mind and feeding into yourselves and your emotional state is going to determine how you are where you are. Thank you, everybody. If I could get our co-hosts on, as I can't do this without myself. I just am so honored, blessed, and thankful for the individuals that we have on our co-host team. We've got Marilyn, who again is doing a great job of taking information. Yeah. If it wasn't for Marilyn, I wouldn't have all those points ready to read back. So thank you so much, Marilyn, for the notes that you put into the chat for everybody to see. We have Ruth Ellen, my executive production manager, who helps to do the stream and helps to get our guests all lined up for the show, and who fills in for me when I decide to go on vacation and then move and then start a whole new life with a whole new person. And I'm so thankful that I love myself, because I can love myself wherever I am.
As we say, that's your running dog.
Yes. Yes, that's my running dog. Yeah. So
whatever she needs, I'm there to support her. And
vice versa. Yeah.
Sisters to the core.
Yes, yes. And that's, it was in adversity that we met.
Yeah.
And that just really pulled us to be stronger and closer together and work together. So thank you, Ruth Ellen.
Thank you. And thank you, Raymond.
And yes, thank you, thank you. And we have Kaylee. Kaylee is helping us with our digital marketing and social media presence. Thank you so much, Kaylee, for all you do and helping to help us run the show as well, keeping things on smoothly.
Yes.
So the youngest member of our crew here, but very, very, very much intelligent. I look at her and I think she has an old, kind soul, and that's not a bad thing at all. And we have Albert way down in South Africa joining us. His dedication and passion and love for people just really melded right into our team. So I thank you, Albert, as it is late for you. Now that I'm in a different time zone, I can't remember what, 6 hours later. So it's only 10, 15? Yeah, something like that. Down in South Africa. Go ahead, Raymond.
Yeah, the book is still out on Albert. My wife called him good looking, so I don't know how to comment here on Albert yet. Thank you. Thank you for all you do at it.
Hey, Raymond.
Yes.
It's all about, the confidence that you have in yourself, in your relationship. You should have no problem with her.
I shouldn't be
another man.
Insecure, should I?
Oh.
I can't help it. Looking at a guy like that, I can't help it. And he has an accent too. Oh no. I gotta think. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, there's something about those men and their accents. They'll get you every time.
Yeah.
But thank you, Albert, as he's helping to let people into the show so that they can hear the program live and not on camera. Today is AJ, and AJ has really been an amazing member of our team, as he has been the visionary in getting us out on all of the different platforms where actually I may have thought on one or two of them. He made it happen so that now we are on almost 20 platforms, I believe, as you can find us on Apple TV, Roku TV, iHeart, Spotify, Brighteon, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Radio FM, and the podcast, something, Bing podcast. I got to get my list back now that I've moved. So he has helped us get on all of those different platforms. And folks, if there's a way for you to comment, let us know what platform you're watching it, please do so we know where our reach is. And also, if there's not a way, send us an email at info@dailywithdoc.com and let us know where you are thankful to be able to find our show. And I saw Ruth Ellen's hand go up momentarily.
I just wanted Raymond to, so we're on YouTube, and in YouTube we have Bruce. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we have Patty. Thank you, Raymond. That's amazing. And thanks, amazing Doc and Becca team. And I just wanted you to know, people out there are listening and they loved it. So thank you so much. And Bruce is saying hi.
Yes, so awesome. And we have here in the Zoom room, Lorenzo says, great show, Raymond. Thank you always. Corey says, thank you. We've got somebody else that says, thanks, Ray. I always know you as Raymond, but I guess if somebody's on a different level, absolutely. We have Mary. Oh, Mary's asking a question. What is the procedure to getting questions answered on the program? Great question, Mary. And that answer is questions@dailywithdoc.com. Again, questions@dailywithdoc.com. Or if you join us early enough, depending on the topic and the guests that we have, that will determine whether or not we have health questions addressed and giving protocols to help each and every one of us on that cellular level through nutrition find a better health journey. So thank you, Mary, for that question as well. And Raymond, Tony says thank you. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. Tomorrow, folks, we do have Pharmacist Spin, as we have Pharmacist Fridays on Daily with Doc. Same time, same place, zoom.dailywithdoc.com from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, and in my new time zone, was that 3 to 4 Eastern time. Until next time, thank you so much. Zoom.dailywithdoc.com to join us live. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, team. And thank you, everybody who joined us.
Thank you, team.
Bye for now.
Right. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.